and this is my demo presentation of Chia No Code, my submission to the Chialisp Global Hackathon. So Chia No Code is a web application. You can see the homepage right here. And really what it does is it allows users to create, store information about, and spend coins on the Chia network. And coins, are kind of like smart contracts. And it does all of this without requiring the user to write any code at all, which is, I think, a huge plus for being able to work with coins on the Chia network. So let's get started with a demo of how we create a coin. So we go here, click New Coin. You can see that we have this user interface that is pretty basic. You can give a coin a name, so I'm going to give this one Demo Coin. And you see there's 3 sections here: inputs, logic, and actions. So you might know a little bit about Chia coins already, but Chia coins are basically contracts that go into the network, and they have programs inside of them. And basically, the program is called a puzzle, and we can design the puzzle here with this logic, and there are inputs to that puzzle called the solution, and we can outline what those will be for this coin up here in the input section. So when someone goes to spend the coin, they pass in their solution inputs that they think, and they are checked against the logic, and if it's correct based on how we design the coin, certain actions will occur, like a new coin will be made, or an announcement will allow the coin to communicate with other coins. So for this one, I'm going to do the same example I did in the presentation, which is one that checks a password and then a date. Very basic coin, but we can make it with this without writing any code. So the first thing we'll need is to make we're going to store a password inside the coin, and then we're going to have the user's input one that will be checked against that password. So we'll have stored password, we'll call it, and this is the name of that variable. And this one, I'm going to put demo pass. So this is the password. This is really like the string of the password. And we mark this as sensitive data. What that'll do is that'll hash this so it is a hex value when it's curried, which means it's stored inside with the coin to be checked against later. So it won't be, the string will be secured, so people who see the coin and the inside of it, the puzzle part, won't be able to know what this value is. Next, we're going to use the entered, we'll call it entered password, and this is going to be provided by the user, so we're not going to add a value. And we're also going to call this sensitive data. And what that'll do is that'll make sure that this is hashed, so converted to specific hash at runtime. And that's how we can ensure that this is equal to that without knowing what this is. So that's a huge security feature right there. And then the last one, we'll just call it date, and that'll be a string, a couple characters that represent today's or tomorrow's date. Today is the 25th, so we'll just have that be the first case. The logic is with conditional, so if we have an input of something is equal to something, if that's true, we'll do one of these 3 things. If that's false, we'll do one of these 3 things. And we can nest if statements to add more complexity. So if we get started, we do date, and we'll just say the date is equal to today's date. Okay, if this is true, then we want to continue and check if the password is true. So we'll go here, we'll do stored, what do we call it? Just copy this. Stored password, entered password. Yep. Okay, so if this is true and this is true, this will happen. So what do we want to happen? I'm going to click output, and down here, we'll just say we'll create a new coin, an announcement of that new coin. And now, see how when we click save, we get a glimpse of the code, the Chialisp code that goes in. We know that that is saved. And we can see 2 more arguments for the solution were added here. These are things that are needed to do these actions. And this one is an address. So when we spend this coin, we'll have to specify an address of the new coin or a puzzle hash. And the second one is the new amount, so the value of that new coin. If it's false, if the password's wrong, we don't want to do anything. We'll say exit. And if the date is wrong, we'll do the same thing. We'll exit. So that's all the logic we have for this coin. These are all the inputs. We have the sensitive one secured. We have a name, so I think we're ready to click save. So if I click save, we see this. So in the background, it is running the commands to hash and curry. So say it's going to hash the puzzle and the argument, the internal password together. So while we wait for that, we got this here. We can see that it has value, the data was created in the name. You can see some of these other ones. So if we give it a couple seconds, while we wait on that, I can go over the view source. So if I click this, you can see here, this is the source code of the Chialisp file that we created. You can see there are a bunch of constants here, but down here is the logic that we wrote. If date, which is defined up here, is equal to that string that we passed in. If the stored password is equal to the hash of the entered password, it will do those commands that we want, which is everything that we asked of Chia No Code. So we have that. Okay, and now we see here the puzzle hash has been generated. So we have a way of referencing the coin on the network. And if we click deploy, we'll see, there we go. We have an address on the network. This is the test net, not the main net, but it's referenceable. And soon we'll be able to add value. So there will be an internal wallet here. And just from this click of the button, we can add whatever amount we want and give value to this coin for real on the network. We'll also, a work in progress feature is being able to spend the coin. So if we take this coin name, and we'll just call this demo spend. We're not going to save this or anything, but if we search this coin, we can add it here. This is our coin, it has all the same metadata. And here we can enter the solution arguments. So we can enter the password. I believe ours was demo pass. We can add the date as if we were going to spend this. There would be an address, so this would be something like that. Another puzzle hash like this that's in hex code that would create, and the new amount. So if this were 300, this would probably automatically go to 300, and it could be up to you to change it to 250 or something if you want some of that money to go back to the network. And with the click of the button, we could click spend, and it would spend this in the network. That's still a work in progress, but hopefully in the next couple weeks, we'll have that functionality. So that's an overview of Chia No Code. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and thank you very much.